Greetings, I am Lies.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together.
Alright, so we're gonna go date the werewolf next, because we were gonna do this chronologically.
Alright, so we're gonna go to...
We're gonna go to save. We're gonna go to save, and then we're gonna load in from... So I went and made a save right at when we had to make the choice.
Yes.
And now we're gonna have to play this next route as though Vil has different priorities. Because, of course, moving through with a character, we would be like, we're going to assume that Vil doesn't feel the same to move forward with a different path. But I am very curious about Doggo and also finding out what he found.
Okay.
I can't help casting a brief glance towards the door, though. My schedule's still pretty busy today, and I can't spare that much extra time, especially since I should try to stay a little ahead of schedule, in case I hit any roadblocks or cause for delay later down the line. But still, I get the sense that this might be something very important for Yeastel. Even if I say to stay to speak to him, I should be able to manage all of my other deliveries as long as I move quickly and don't waste any more time. What should I do?
Apologize.
Apologize and get going. In this case, we have to get going. It's too bad, but I don't want to risk delaying anyone's delivery.
Yes.
And I hope he also, for the sake of the city, has someone else in mind as well, or is ready to move on to other options.
Right.
You know? Sorry, Yeastel, but I've got a pretty busy route today. I can't talk right now, but would it be alright if I came back to talk to you later in the evening after I'm done? Yeastel's expression remains a perfect picture of calm. For a moment, I think his eyelids lower, his gaze flickering off to the side. He does that shy, awkward thing whenever he's being, like, either reserved, and that expression is one of my favorite expressions of his.
Yeah.
It charms me. His gaze flickering off to the side, but any trace of discomfort dissipates in an instant. Maybe it was just a trick of the light.
Alright, so I'm gonna have to play Doggo.
Yes, you're gonna have to play.
Either
that or I'll have to talk to myself the whole time.
I'm playing Doggo.
Maybe just go for some of that vocal fry we've been talking about. It could be fun. Because he's supposed to be deep and growly. They specifically mentioned it.
No, it's alright.
He smiles. I had my friend water. You can do this. He has a nice smile.
I may drink my water, thank you. Okay. It wasn't anything important, and you should rest up after your round. You did run an awful lot.
Huh. Sorry again.
You don't have anything to apologize for.
I finish tying my bundle back together and straighten up, adjusting the way its weight sits on my back.
I'll be heading off.
That's me. That's Phil.
You. That's why I stopped.
Okay.
You.
I'll be heading off. Okay? Yes! It will be so good. I'm excited to have to do this. It will be lovely. All right, here we go.
Stay safe.
You have to wait. You gotta wait till we get to the boy.
It's fine.
It's fine.
We're gonna get to the boy or get to the boy?
To the boy.
Oh, to that boy.
You too. Don't work yourself too hard, all right? Yeastel smiles. It is a very kind smile. See, that split is adorable, and I love it.
I'll be careful.
I wave as I open the door and slip out. Death. Oh boy.
You're so welcome.
It's fine. I wave as I open the door and slip out. I don't have the time to dawdle, so I immediately transition from a walk to a jog, then to a... We're looking forward to the boy, yes.
The boy.
The boy. We will revoice him because otherwise I'd be talking to myself a lot. All right. So I immediately transition from a walk to a jog, then to a steady trot. But when I cast a glance back up at the overlook spire, the eyeballs on it have already started to blink in action, weeping a few tears to moisturize themselves before casting about quickly, no doubt seeking out troublemakers to put to a halt. I love that the eyes take care of themselves. That is a great piece of info.
It's still pretty good.
Or people who might need help. I give the spiders a wave of the arm, right before I turn the corner, but I can't be sure if Yeastel would have seen it. There's Toe.
Thanks for delivery.
No problem.
Hey, you be careful now, alright?
I love how their skin fits like a baggy t-shirt or like sweatshirt. It charms me.
A weird fleshy experience is really interesting.
It is.
It's quite a choice.
Will do. Thanks. I have to hurry. If I hurry with the next few deliveries, I should be able to stay ahead of schedule. Giving myself a few minutes of leeway is important in case I run into any trouble along the way, especially since things are ramping up to the eclipse.
Oh, baby.
I've already had to take a detour because there was a rowdy celebration going on in one street. My feet skid across the ground as I turn a corner, my claws raking deep furrows into the dirt as I straighten back up without dropping my pace. I'm glad you can't stop laughing. That's so good. We love laughing with everybody. It is part of our jam.
Boy.
My next two clients are absent from their houses. As much as it pains me to say, that's good for me today. I don't want to say it's good that you're not here and I can't see your beautiful face, but it good.
It good.
I quickly slot their salt packets into their boxes and resume running. I'll say hi to them on another day when I have more time. I'm sure they're also busy with their own eclipse preparations. Distracted by trying to think of any other shortcuts I can take without skipping any stops on my route, I don't hear the sound of approaching footsteps the instant I step into the dark. Into the park, sorry. And I certainly don't expect a hefty bundle of fur and fangs to come bursting out of the foliage to my immediate left. Boof! Here he is. He's so good. Hi.
Bill! Hey.
I don't manage to stop quickly enough. Neither does Brattan. He glides squarely into me, knocking us both into the grass. Galump, bump, tingle, 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 roll, roll, roll.
I was waiting for you.
You were. I gently push at Brattan's shoulders so he'll get off me. Not that this is a particularly terrible position to be in. I love how cuddly, like, his fur is quite soft. He big cuddly boy. I squish, but a cuddly squish is quite soft and clean today. He must have taken a shower after last night's exploring. He was a mess yesterday. He was covered in every possible sticky, disgusting fluid, and it was amazing.
It was pretty good.
And his body is very warm, but he's still heavy, and getting pressed into the grass for too long might make dirt seep through my back and taint the salt. I'm not about me. Yes, Palm's boy. Paul was voting for him, so we're gonna do it.
That'd be great.
I love that they do. Just they're going. I think about the salt, not the squish or the cuddle. Brattan moves back obligingly, clambering to his feet and holding his hand out so I can also stand. His hand is huge. The pads of his paws squish slightly against my palm. Beans! Toe beans. He has the goodest of toe beans, and we love them.
You're on your route, right?
Yeah.
I'll run with you.
He's so excited, and I love it. Thanks. He's never done that before. Still, it's not like I mind the company, and Brattan is in fantastic shape. Let us admire the boy. Even as I run at a speedy jog, he keeps up with me. Sorry, steady jog, just by walking quickly. He also tall.
See, I found something really interesting last night.
He's a big bean boy.
He's a big old bean boy.
So that's why he was waiting for me. He must have been really excited to tell me something.
To tell someone.
To tell someone, sorry. I can't do it. I'm like, you're too much experience, having fun, can't wait. All right, what was it?
I'm not sure.
I love that face. Still, it's so good.
I'm really not sure.
Huh. Lost audio.
No.
Oh no. Hang on. Abort. Let's try again. Okay.
No, it's still on.
Hang on. Okay, so now it's on. You know what? Let's see if we get it back.
We have it back.
Let's make sure it's back now because we did move the
Stop
cord
wiggly.
again. I'm not gonna move anymore. I just want to make sure it's supported.
Okay. Just like
Yeah, it's okay. All right, everybody good on sound?
Are we
Give me
good on
like
the
an
sound?
A-okay or something. We're just waiting.
how it sound.
Someone will say, "I can hear you speaking," or we'll just know we're just chatting into a void. I hope. Here, hang on. Yes, we're there. Yes, we are there. Okay, got it. What?
Okay.
Yeah, it's back.
But I'm doing my best to figure it out.
That sounds difficult. Brattan, it is, it's hard. I am a giant soft himbo, and this thing is out of my wheelhouse. Brattan looks around before he continues speaking, like he's making sure nobody else is around. Visibility is poor in the park anyway, so even if someone were eavesdropping, I'm not sure if he'd be able to spot them. Nonetheless, he looks satisfied that we're alone and continues. He's so excited that his voice is starting to get gravelly at the edges, like he's fighting back the urge to start barking. You are the void. We support you.
I think it's really important, you know? I've never seen anything like it before.
Grr.
And I think it could change things. If it's what I think it might be, then it might be huge. I might go down in history as someone incredible. So I'm really excited to figure out more about it.
He's so enthusiastic that it's infectious. I can't help smiling as I nod. I don't know much about exploring, but I hope it's something great. You're always working really hard, and it'd be nice if people got a chance to really appreciate all the work you put into your job. Something else I want to mention about all the friendship that's in here that is so great in this game, from my perspective, something I really like, is that these characters do have things in common. These are friendships that are built off of commonalities where you can actually relate to and connect to each other. And I love that because it's like everyone does have a really good work ethic in their own way, even as they're more playful, more serious, or more stoic kind of thing.
Right.
And it's kind of cool. And they also are all sort of like warm and friendly, again, with very different flavors. And I like it. Brattan beams, showing all of his teeth, all the way to the back. His tongue lolls out. We jog along in silence for a few moments. By the way, did you put in an order for any salt today? Brattan looks a little like he was startled out of his thoughts by that. His furs puffed out a little larger than usual. Poof! Friendship is a magic. Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Would you like it now?
Sure. Yeah.
I slow to a walk so I can fumble with my pack, carefully extracting one of the salt packets without dropping any of the others. Here you go.
Hey, do you have a few moments to spare?
It's my turn to be caught off guard. Still holding out Brattan's packet, freeze. I give him a curious look, is frozen in mid-hand. Huh?
I want to show you something.
He's so excited. He's drooling slightly, a thin string of spittle hanging from his jaw. It must be his discovery from the other day. Well, I glance up. The sky still peaks bright past the canopy of gnarled branches and muddied leaves. I'm not terribly late, so I suppose I could spare a few minutes, but it would also mean I'd have to hurry with the rest of my route, which I don't like doing on principle. Still, when I look back at Brattan, his tail is wagging. Isn't wagging. I can't see it, so it must be standing straight up at attention behind his back, which is rare. That specific thing. My whole life to spare, my boy. I have all the time in the world. Never mind, flinging salt into the distance. I have quit my job. I made an auspicious choice on the auspicious occasion. I cuddle the soft boy.
I do it.
Done. You're boss. That was so impulsive. I laugh. All right. I love that detail of the tail, though. I can't see it hanging down in relaxation or wagging. So it must be like straight up, the dog extremely interested.
Right.
Which is rare. This might be something pretty important to him, so I can't answer lightly. What should I do? Okay, we need to save here.
Okay.
Actually, because we need to come back here so that we can get to our last option later.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we're going to deal with a eldritch horror
And it
later.
will be so good.
I'm so excited.
Yes, here we go.
All right. So we're going to make a quick trip with Brattan.
Make a quick trip with Brattan. I think it would be best if I gave Brattan's big discovery a chance. He seems really excited. All right. Ties my pack tighter. Freezes with the salt. Do I hand this to you or do I put it back? Frozen in indecision. Let's go. I give Brattan the best smile I can. I'm not used to changing my routine like this, but maybe all the talk about the eclipse is getting to me. Brattan unsurprisingly looks ecstatic, his tail wagging so hard it's whipping at the bramble branches on either side of him.
Awesome!
Yes! His voice practically edges into a howl It's like he can't hide his
Awesome.
excitement.
Ooh.
It's a crack. That's adorable. His paw easily engulfs my hand when he snatches it up. The pad's warm and a little squishy against my palm.
Aw.
Beans. So many soft
That
beans.
beans.
Here, this way. I'll hurry so you won't be late on your route.
I still like that all of them are really respectful of your job, even as they want things. Like, again, like the whole hitting on people in the workplace is a challenging prospect. And if you're already really close to them and you know them well, it still can be a thing where it might disrupt their day. And I like them all being very considerate about it. The paths in the park can be pretty cramped at points, but that's not to worry when Brattan's in the way. His giant bulk conveniently crashes through any branches hanging in the way. Him grabs our hand. Adventure! Just crashes through everything. Open doors, paths, who cares? Mows down trees as he walks forward. I love this imagery.
Hey, baby.
Whipping them aside and clearing a comfortable path for me. A few leaves are getting stuck in his fur, but he doesn't even seem to notice. He's either humming or growling under his breath. Possibly both.
My ride's right over there.
Oh, he has a ride.
Ah.
Look at that. Oh my god.
Text, hang on.
Now we have bees and giant caterpillars.
Baby.
I love this. Baby is adorable.
Baby.
You are so cute.
Look at the baby.
Just blue. Looking at us, you are so
So cute.
Good job, everybody. I love the teeny little speck eyes. The ones that just detect like light and shadow on the cheeks.
Right.
It's so good.
I have to say though, I am definitely a 12-year-old.
What?
I mean, I don't know. Can I say that on stream?
I think.
Can I say that it looks sort of like a penis?
The whole caterpillar.
This green, and then there's this little head. And
I think you can say it. It's okay. It's okay. Brattan's brought us to a side entrance to the park. The streets laid out before us. And
I hope you want one. They're cute.
yes, they're lovely. Also, just like so cute, good boy.
Squish his little face.
He does like the little soft cheeks. Just be careful of the eyeballs.
Okay.
All right. And as promised, his ride just waits just a few paces away, roped to a portion of the fence enclosure to discourage any would-be thieves. I love that you just rope him up like a horse to a post.
Yes.
There's a little bit of that going on too.
Yes,
It's true, especially behind the mandibles.
Yes.
Like whoa.
Yeah, I could totally see a Drakonishi, and yes, Sarlipan, I'm sorry.
It's
That's
fine.
me.
It's adorable, and you know what? You can look like those things and still be adorable.
cute. Yes.
After all, they do make the penis plushies, you know.
It's
and they're
true.
very cute.
They are very cute. They're very
And
soft.
ridiculous.
Including thy ribs and yes.
They're just very squishy. That's great. All right, it's a giant caterpillar. You don't say. Oh, whoa! I knew you guys got rides, but I've never seen one before.
Yeah.
We are such a creature of habit. We never go anywhere in the city we're not told to go.
We really don't.
It's adorable.
She's real nice, isn't she?
Adorable. It raises
Its head. I
when
think.
Brattan approaches, butting its eyeless face. Oh, those aren't supposed to be eyes.
Oh,
Into
okay,
his spot. Just freckles then squish the cheeks. Oh, you're like squishy freckle cheeks.
Squishy face.
Its innards stir beneath the translucent stretch of its outer layers.
Oh.
Swirls of colors pulsing slowly. Brattan doesn't hesitate to swing a leg over the caterpillar's girth, straddling what must be its upper back and holding on to its harness, then pats the spot right behind him. I love that. Just pat, 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 pat. I'm also charmed that he runs like a badass and that thing can go faster than him.
Which is wild.
Which I love that prospect.
Here, take a seat. Don't worry, she's real tame and doesn't mind other riders.
So glad.
Ah,
I've never ridden one of these before. The caterpillar seems to glance at me when I approach, her body throbbing beneath the touch of my hand. I think they're trying to use all the pronouns for this caterpillar. Because they've got he, she, and it used so far when referring to the caterpillar.
Oh, maybe.
Which is an interesting choice. And it might be like typos or whatever, but I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with non-gendered, basically,
Or-
caterpillar. Like,
or
why not?
mini-gendered, going it could be anything once it grows up, you know?
All right.
I'm gonna give us a ride. He invited us for
A ride.
hey baby.
Getting on is a little daunting, admittedly. Get on fearlessly, get on cautiously. I think we would climb on carefully. We're very thoughtful.
Sure. Get on cautiously.
So I can't help being a little careful. Some of the choices in this are very cute. I gingerly sit side saddle first, moving slowly to avoid startling the caterpillar. Her skin shifts and gives beneath my weight, pliable and warm to the touch. It feels a bit like sitting on a large, warm sack of sand. An organic, squishy sack of sand. Also memory foam flesh, good caterpillar. It's only after the caterpillar settled back down that I swing my other leg over and steady myself. The caterpillar gives me what might be a curious glance before looking ahead.
It's alright. There's nothing to be scared of.
I trust you. Ha! Him sits on the caterpillar, holds out his head like Aladdin. Do you trust me?
Hi.
Climbs up. Yes.
Do you trust me?
Brattan grins as he gives me a reassuring rub to the back.
You ready?
Hi. Yup. I also imagining him having to twist around and reach around us to pat us on the back. That's kind of adorable.
Ooh, yes.
Hi.
Hold on to me. We're going to go fast.
I love the idea of a caterpillar being the fastest mode of transportation. That is so preposterous. I love it.
Pretty good, actually.
As soon as I lean forward and wrap my arms around Brattan's waist, he gives the caterpillar a hearty smack to the side. Us and our short arms.
Let's go!
The caterpillar promptly starts to crawl forward at an astounding rate.
Like we said, they might actually be basically gender fluid, but also at the same time too, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just kind of like, I get kind of tired of it, but people are like super obsessed with basically gendering their animals.
Yeah, and going, is this animal gendered or not? Do we actually even know? And since it's a social construct, it doesn't matter unless the society has some sort of important, like, unless the caterpillar has like higher intelligence where pronouns or whatever would matter to them.
Right? And I guess it's not like saying I'm being necessarily like disrespectful, but again, that concept of going like, how can you be disrespectful to something that technically doesn't really comprehend everything you're talking about anyway?
That also can't recognize like more than like physicality kind of thing and tone of voice.
Right? And that's the thing though, like I get frustrated about that because I've watched people literally like throw a fit because you misgendered their dog wrong and yet are completely willing to misgender real people.
Actual people. It's
it's just really annoying.
At an astounding rate. I've heard that these animals could move quickly, but she's much faster than I anticipated. I could feel the pulse of innards beneath me, the taut stretch of skin shifting and pulsing rhythmically beneath my legs as the caterpillar stretches its front half forward, then bunching up as its back half follows. The 3 pairs of front legs kick up dirt with each step, its back legs popping off the ground one by one. Poink, poink, poink.
Don't mind me, just watching.
Hey, what's poppin'? But it's still an interesting experience. A large lunge forward almost pulls me off balance, and I hold on to Brattan a little tighter. He is soft. Oh, yes! Oh. His fur is warm beneath me, smelling faintly of soap and leaves. He did clean himself. I can feel it through his back when he inhales deeply, then exhales in a long huff. Okay, time to breathe deep again, everybody.
Okay.
He sounds pleased.
Don't worry, it's not that far off.
His voice rumbles over the whipping of the wind, and I nod against his back. The flesh plains.
It is flesh plains.
Mm-hmm. This is where he finds the salt deposits in the flesh plains, and that's where they have to get bits of hair and skin and bugs out of it.
Ah, okay.
Oh, damn.
Whoa.
The caterpillar moves swiftly, and it's not long before we're past the boundaries of the city and into the flesh fields outside. Not exactly what I expected, but not what I expected, so there we go.
Right.
The air here feels mustier, slightly damp, and smelling of sweat. All around me there's a strange warmth emanating from the ground. The atmosphere feels somehow oppressive, like the feeling of something breathing a little too close to your face, and I accidentally take in a deep breath, but end up coughing.
Alright, we're gonna
take a look.
Look at the flesh fields.
Wow.
That looks wild.
And you can see parts of the city out at the edges, and also the splits in the skin. Also, can you imagine digging for the salt deposits by cutting open the skin and just finding this huge chunk to mine out of it?
Oh, God. I don't, like,
That's your world.
Yeah, like, this is your world, but, like, ooh, little bizarre.
All Might. It's fair. Honestly, My friend has played an All Might, basically OC before, and it's not quite that deep, but it is a thing. They can do it.
How are we doing?
So many people give him a lot of gravel in the ASMRs, and it's really weird to me because I always just picture it just really deep and clear, which I can't quite go to that register. But at the same time, like that's I'm always like, I don't ever picture the amount of gravel a lot of people give him, or vocal fry sometimes. But I think they're just trying to drop to a lower register than they're used to.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, and I come up coughing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Try
no.
not to breathe too deeply. It takes a little time to get used to.
Look at his face.
He's adorable.
That is a face we have not seen, and it's adorable. I also like that. I mean, I know, not a game for kids. They anatomize him properly. He a boy, and
I mean, I don't.
I'm not saying. I'm saying that's sheath and fur.
Is it?
I believe so.
Okay,
Based on the other stuff they've drawn, I think so.
Okay, I genuinely don't know. I just was mostly like, I can't tell if also like you edited it so that it wouldn't be.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is if you have a lot of fur, it's not very obvious anyway.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
But I think they went, you know what? We will give him the anatomy that we would expect him to have.
Right.
All right. Brattan laughs briefly before ducking down low. He seems to be directing the caterpillar, petting its side to point it in a specific direction. I love that he doesn't use like reins or spurs or anything. He just like pat. Everybody is so gentle with the stuff that they care about in here. It's amazing.
It's true.
Aye, it veers gently left, lurching past a clump of scraggly hair poking out of the ground and circling past a pit brimming with liquefied fat.
Liquefied fat? What?
And Paul makes he stops working because of the cuteness. I know, his face is great. He has so many good expressions. Is it far? I say, wondering about how long this will take. The caterpillar's weight is just enough to sink into the fleshy ground, squoosh, sending gentle ripples across the surface of the fat pool. The oily sheen on its surface shimmers and glows in the afternoon light, simultaneously beautiful and gross. Going, I'm not interested in liquefied fat, but I nonetheless can appreciate its aesthetic value.
We're almost there.
What did you find? The caterpillar slows down when Brattan pats at its head, weaving in between small craters of murky liquid and clumps of bristling hair. Small clusters of insects flee before the caterpillar's bulk. Before the caterpillar's...
Oh, that was an extra word they added in.
It was. They wanted to do it one way or the other.
Yeah.
Scattering scattering to hide inside widened pores or underneath the occasional chunk of bone that dots the landscape.
Whoa.
This sounds fascinating. Brattan has his head raised to sniff deeply at the air, as if searching for something. Ears perking. Suddenly, he just looks so happy. Are you looking for something?
Yeah, and just making sure there's nobody else around.
I need to make sure we are. I think we're alone now.
We're here, though.
So many more cute faces. Look at that.
I'm so happy.
Brattan guides the caterpillar around a giant hunk of bone, nudging the caterpillar back on the right track when it's briefly distracted by a porous chunk of bone marrow. Nope, not yet. Not right now.
Stop.
And dismounts to muscle his way through a chest-high patch of thick, scraggly hair. He's given me no indication of what I should do, but I guess I should follow after him? Wait for a signal first.
I feel like...
Hurry before he vanishes out of sight.
That sounds like indicative to me of going like...
He seems so excited. I think we would just follow him.
Yeah,
I think we have caught the tone of I'm just excited and we go. You know?
Pretty much. Hurry before he vanishes out of sight.
It's very cute.
No sense in waiting.
I'm sorry. No sense in waiting. I'll catch up to him quickly. I'm trying to read the chat.
There's
while I'm
nothing
doing
going
this.
on.
I just
close one or the other.
It's just they're different.
Oh, it's missing.
I
Yeah, it's
lost
fine.
some on mine.
It's okay. You can
It's
always
fine.
just turn yours off if you want to.
Yeah, I think we'll be
Stop
okay with
tapping
just
with
one.
yours.
All right, I hop off the caterpillar's back, but end up stumbling 1-2 steps when the ground buckles slightly. The skin is warm beneath my feet, stretchy and a little jiggly from an underlayer of fat, and I can feel my balance wobbling. Walking is a little difficult, like traversing shifting sand, trying to walk on a boob.
Yeah, kind of. That's actually, like, it reminds me of my sci-fi teacher. Zarlapan, do you remember? Zarlapan, do you remember we were in school and Mr. Johnson, and he had his cute-ass sci-fi story, or you might not have been there when he did it, but basically he was super proud of himself because everybody couldn't guess what the thing was that he wrote in his little short story, and he was like, it's a decapitated breast.
It's just a boob.
It's a boob. And everybody was just like, why?
Why
Would you?
Because of the jiggly. Because
Because
of
it
the jiggle.
jiggles. And we were like, what?
Okay, we saw a really, really hilarious TikTok recently of just it was very fat positive and it was adorable. Where this person was just like, whenever a skinny girl's like, she's so fat, I can't believe, like, how does she ever get laid? What you do not realize, honey, is that my entire body feels like the tit.
Yes, it was really funny.
All squishy, all soft. Anyway, it was very charming. Anyway, Brattan really is incredible. It takes me a few more steps to get used to the terrain, but I've largely regained my balance by the time I reach that thicket of hair. It's tougher than it looks. Parts of it clumped and matted together, and I need to use a little muscle to try and pry it apart.
What? But I don't remember. Yeah, no, it was...
But I remember school
Yes.
existed out there.
It was such... yes.
The person, the
Bigger
better the
person.
hugs.
It's true.
Having a rough day, lays down, hugs the ground.
Yeah.
It takes me a few more steps to get used to the terrain, but I've largely regained my balance by the time I reach that thicket of hair. It's tougher than it looks. Parts of it clumped and matted together. Oh, sorry, I tried to find it right.
I was going to say, like it went. And
Here! Let me give you a hand.
So excited.
Yes.
Brattan's paws suddenly emerge from the other side of the curtain of hair, parting it aside to allow me through. He gives me a toothy grin.
Not bad, though. That hair gave me trouble, too, when I first found the spot.
Okay, so he offered us a ride. We went to the jiggly flesh. Now we're plowing our way through the hair.
This is a metaphor.
It's a metaphor. I forgot to say my last line. Whatever it was.
We just go back. There wasn't another line.
I thought there was.
There was not.
I swear.
Oh.
Thanks.
I thought you...
But I think I'll still leave the heavy lifting to you.
Fine.
I'm pretty sure that's a line.
All right, fine. There's a line. It's
All
a
right,
line.
here we go. Huh? What is? Wild. Past the thicket of hair, I immediately realized what it is Brattan wanted to show me. It's a giant hole. The flesh fields are dotted with holes, of course. Pores that gently open and close as the land breathes. Craters with visible pockets of flesh inside. The deep pits full of pus and deep pits full of pus and grease. This one feels different, though. Also, there's supposed to be salt out here somewhere, too, beneath the surface.
Right.
At first glance, the hole appears to hold a slice of the sky. It's only when the surrounding skin shifts from a slow exhale that the surface ripples that I realize it's a mirror-slick pool of fluids. Crouching down nearby, I squint down at the edge, where flecks of the fluid have lapped up onto the ground. It's a deep, rich red. There's a metallic smell to it, but it's not the rich stench of blood, more the smell of something foreign, something that sends shivers down my spine. I could be a zit, you never know, but then it would probably be blood.
Yes.
It's not fear, though. I think it's anticipation. I shiver with
Anticipation. It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Tim, like, so pretty. That's cute. Brattan speaks breathlessly, like he's looking at a mind-shattering vista. Like, this is the awe-inspiring awe. That's amazing.
Right.
I can't quite empathize with that level of awe, but I nod along anyway. It certainly is strange and unique. I feel like I'm witnessing something very special. What exactly is it?
We're not sure.
He says it like it's a good thing. The pool's surface judders when Brattan eases himself to his knees, the ground beneath him sifting with what feels like a gentle sigh. I also crouch down beside him, watching my reflection distort and warp.
We found it while looking for a new salt pool, you see.
His face, monstrous body horror, but there's something about...
Yeah.
Fair. And the thing is no one's out here washing this skin. This is the ground of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So we feel you. Walking on this ground would make you want to wash your feet. Also, that could be part of the explanation for the air out here.
Maybe. But like, actually, though, that was the thing where I was like, oh, when we first saw this, I was like, whoa, because I immediately got kind of
The skin crawling experience.
Like, oh.
Yeah, going, it's not the monsters, it's the world.
Oh, boy.
Brattan starts explaining, his thoughtful expression mitigated only slightly by the excited glint of sharp teeth. Though there's an undeniable gravity to the situation, he can't seem to contain his anticipation. Whoa. What happened?
Hello? Oh, so this is a
Oh, this is
flashback.
reminding back to the night. 3 of them had been exploring together when they found the hole one night. It had been cloudy that night with no moonlight for the pool to reflect, and the thickets of hair had prevented their lamps from shining off the pool's surface. Brattan had been a short distance away when he heard his co-worker take a few steps. Then a sudden shout and a large splash. It's like the dog trying to walk across the grass just blorted into the pool.
That was so funny.
By the time he turned his lamp in the direction of the shout and rushed over, his friend had already sunk beneath the pool's glimmering surface.
Oh no.
Salt scouts are used to the hazards of the job, but they didn't panic. And they didn't panic despite the unusual circumstances, going, "That's new," and then we prepare to act. Brattan and his co-worker immediately lowered a rope into the pool to try and rescue their unfortunate companion. But no matter how much rope they lowered into the pool, it never seemed to reach the bottom. Even when they ran out of rope, they still hadn't found the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Their next step was to lower a lamp into the pool, hoping it illuminated the fluid from the inside. Maybe that would make their co-worker's silhouette visible. But not only was the fluid in the hole completely opaque, even with the lamp on its strongest glow, when they pulled the lamp back out of the hole, it had changed.
Whoa.
The lamp had become something they'd never seen before. The outer casing had changed from flesh and bone to an unfamiliar sort of metal, slick and unnaturally shiny, reflective like mercury, and the light source inside had also changed. Gone was the sphere of containing lightning, and in its place was a strange glass tube containing only a pair of wires. The lamp still functioned the same as it had before, emanating the same powerful glow. Everything about its appearance had become unfamiliar.
Hang on.
It's a pool of transmutation. Oh, sorry.
Or is it a pool of these things actually all are covered up or adjusted, like, so like basically your lamp, say like our original lamps, like being consumed by flesh, and then this removes that flesh and it exposes what it really is.
And that would be interesting. I could see that too. Yeah, going, these things used to be these things.
That is
Or
wild.
it could just change them.
Right?
There must have been an immediate compulsion to drop the other gear into the hole to see what emerged, especially given the innate curiosity it takes for one to become a career salt scout. So I have to commend Brattan and his co-worker for refraining from just dropping everything in there and pulling it all out.
Right?
Their friend was still down there, after all. There was no way to confirm if their friend was dead or alive, or even still down there. After some discussion, they captured one of the many poor rats scurrying about the flesh fields and lowered it into the hole, but found that poor rats would inevitably chew their way free of the rope, leaving them nothing to reel back. The hole seemed more mysterious with each passing moment. Finally, with no other solution at hand, Brattan's co-worker decided to take matters into their own hands. Tie a rope onto you.
Yeah.
Tying the rope around their waist, they lowered themselves into the hole. I can't imagine what Brattan must have felt as the hole's shimmering surface closed up over the co-worker's descending head. But he kept a cool head regardless. Waiting, they agreed upon 2 minutes before hauling the rope back up and hoping that his co-workers came up with it. Instead, what Brattan found at the end of the rope was a note.
Whoa!
It was a hastily scrawled affair, scribbled in an unfamiliar hand on a scrap of gleaming white paper. It read, "So co-worker turned into a human or something, maybe.
I don't
Let's
know.
find out. This is fascinating.
Whoa!
I don't think we can come back. It's a completely different world here."
What?
They may have just like found the other side of things.
What?
What do you mean, different world? Also, I want to see what the rope looks like when you pull it back, because that would have been fascinating. But yeah, they turned into something.
I'm not sure.
Him, curious. He seems to say it calmly, but I've known Brattan long enough to tell he's just about ready to burst with excitement, curiosity, nerves. His fur is bristling to almost twice its usual volume. Poof! Lips pulled back to bare the entirety of his teeth and a sliver of black gums. His claws are digging into the ground hard enough to puncture the surface skin, drawing out beads of blood-flecked fat. And he only seems to realize it when the ground beneath us twitches. He hurriedly withdraws his hands, instead balling them up to fists to rest against his thighs. Honestly, that would also make you more sensitive to other people if the very ground reacts when you hurt it.
Right?
Like, that would make you more aware and sympathetic, you know?
Is
Or
it
empathetic.
a different world? I have no idea what he means, but I want to know what that means!
Uh-huh. Brattan's eyes are fixed on a reflection of the pool's surface. But I know it's not the reflection he's looking at. He's trying to see beyond the surface, deep into the hole's maw.
Oh dear.
I almost don't know what to say. Ask what happened next. Ask what he plans to do next.
Oh. That one actually doesn't have, I think, a good follow-up for where...
I don't know. I kind of just want to know what happened next.
Right?
Like, I'm interested in what he plans to do, but I also want to know the rest of the story.
Right? What happened? Sure. What happened next?
But I figure it's best to get a grasp of the full chain of events first. Yeah, really have an idea of what he's talking about, so we don't have poor context.
Right.
So, what happened after you got the note? The question seems to ground Brattan somewhat. He looks to me with a blink before licking his lips thoughtfully.
Well, at that point, it was just me left, and it's not safe to navigate the flesh fields alone at night, so I've returned to camp. We were the only active team that night, so there was nobody to talk to, but the next morning, I told the boss I got separated from the other two during our shift, and I don't know where they went.
You lied.
Whoa.
I can't help sounding incredulous. Incredulous, sorry. Brattan frowns in response, looking away with his tail held tensely behind him. He wanted to keep his secret.
Boo.
Like, it was my bone. Oh.
I didn't want to tell anyone about this hole just yet.
I found a surprise. Why not?
Because it's such a huge discovery, Bill. This is the biggest thing some of us will ever see in our lifetimes.
I let my eyes fix on the horizon, in the distance, as I think things over.
I think things over, yeah.
Yeah, as I think. There's an I missing.
Yeah.
As think things over, we get an I. It's not that I can't understand Brattan's excitement. After all, I'm finding myself pretty intrigued by this too. But all the same, it's hard to tell if he's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little rough. Are you not going to tell anyone about this hole then?
I'm not sure. This is pretty important, I guess. I'm sure there's a lot to work on to be done researching this hole and figuring out exactly what's going on here. It's not like I'm planning on keeping it secret forever or anything. I'm just... we found this first, you know, me and my friends, so I think I deserve to take a crack in figuring this out before everyone else does.
He's a little territorial, that's cute. What about your coworkers? Shouldn't you get more help for them?
Not really.
They sounded fine.
Right.
Brattan shrugs, rolling his shoulders in a casual gesture.
Salt Scouts
Go missing.
Yeah.
go missing all the time. If anyone goes missing for more than half an hour, we just assume they're dead, or they'll come back on their own. With so much ground to cover, we can't waste days looking for people who are gone. It's just part of the job.
That is amazing. And you get these sort of reckless, intensive people, or people who know they have shorter life cycles and stuff,
Right.
just going out and doing it, being like, yeehaw, mofo.
Oh, we got it.
So for now, I want to take a stab at figuring out what's going on. But maybe I'll even know from my boss explaining everything when I go in there.
That makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah, I've seen. There we go.
All right. Huh? You're going in too?
Whoa. Oh.
Oh, yeah! Did I not say that up front?
No.
I'm planning on going into the hole on the eclipse.
Doing a big change.
Oh dear.
Maybe I shouldn't have been so surprised by this. After all, it's very much like Brattan to want to dive headfirst into things. Literally, in this case.
In this case.
That's not necessarily a good thing, though. And there are plenty of questions I want to ask. I wonder now if this conversation changes depending on how reckless you also behave. Like if you just jump onto the caterpillar and that kind of thing, if there's a little bit of a different response to it.
All right.
Ask what others' steps might be able to take first. Ask if there's anything you can do to help. Ask if anything holds a good idea. Wait and see what he says next. I kind of want to know if there's anything I can do to help. Be like, okay, that's your experience. It's a little wild, but how can I basically keep you safe or whatever?
Right.
Most of all, though, I want to do everything I can to help Brattan. And if we're working with the same character basically in an alternate timeline, they really have a strong motivation to help people.
All right. Absolutely.
Right, slap me twice and call me nerd, but it feels like he bottles his emotions or something. It's entirely possible.
He might.
Well, is there anything I can do to help you? With your discovery, your experience, or whatever? Brattan looks at me like I've said exactly what he was hoping to hear. Tail thumping against the ground behind him. Him sitting, bunk, 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 bunk. Oh, it's so good.
Not anything right this moment, but it means a lot to me that you'd ask. Because you get it, right? You get why I need to do this? I need to go in there.
Uh-huh. I close my eyes, trying to imagine what lies beyond the mirror surface of that pool. Something deep and dark and mysterious, probably. And for someone to want to throw themselves into those depths, it's because you're an explorer, isn't it? That's the type of learning we do.
It's true.
Not because you're a Salt Scout or anything else related to the job, but because you're the type of person to do that job. You're the type to want to know the unknown, even if there are risks. Brattan nods. Small at first, then again more firmly. It just who he is. That's cute.
Height sold, isn't it? This feels important. More important than anything else I've ever done. It would be a different story if things just disappeared in there. I'd not
Step in there.
I'd not to step in there?
I'd not want to.
Probably. I'd not want to step in there. But the fact that the note came back specifically saying there's a different world in there, how am I supposed to leave it alone?
Yeah, reasonable.
And with the eclipse coming on, I mean, Jesus Christ.
Like Jim. He suddenly turns to look at me, inadvertently pushing into my personal space. I can feel his warm breaths huff down the wide collar of my cloak.
This is my chance, Bill. Even if nobody else will ever know about it, this is important to me. I'll know that I did something that almost nobody else in the world has ever done, and that my life will have been worth it if for that incredible moment.
That's amazing. He's so live in the moment enthusiasm. It's very charming. My chest aches deeply as I listen to this. There's a passion in Brattan's voice that I'm pretty sure I've never felt in my own life. That also could be me too, though sometimes I really can be very muted about things going, wow, cool. The sort of passion that's almost impossible to contain. He going to explode. If he didn't have a tail, he would burst. I can't help but admire it, honestly. Enough that the thought of losing Brattan to this mysterious void almost feels tolerable.
Oh.
Almost. Part of my mind is still hazy with too many thoughts, but I feel I should probably say something regardless. Tell Brattan to be careful when he goes. Tell Brattan you believe in him, you want him to be safe. Tell Brattan he should take care of himself.
Middle of the road?
I was just saying, I feel like we're still very much of, I believe in you and I want you to be safe. Yeah, that feels
Right.
very them.
Okay.
Brattan knows his own priorities better than anyone else. I also love the way they describe these choices afterwards. Like every time when we pick a choice, it always feels like there's really good soft exposition of Vil analyzing what they're saying and then putting it forth. It's a cool way to include us in their thought process.
Right.
Brattan knows his own priorities better than anyone else, but no matter what he does, I want him to be safe and happy. To be honest, I don't really understand. This isn't exactly my area of expertise. I find a smile crawling across my features despite the gravity of the moment. Even if I don't fully understand the circumstances, Brattan's enthusiasm and passion are still heartwarming, and I deeply, sincerely want him to be happy. But I think you'll be able to choose what's best for you, as long as you'll be safe and happy. I'm rooting for you. Brattan's eyes light up like fireflies, his ears standing straight up, and there's no real warning before he gets to his feet and picks me up in one seamless motion. He's so athletic. Even with the wobbly layer of fat underfoot, he shows no signs of stumbling as he twirls me around in a circle. That is adorable.
Strong.
That is very cute. Also, again, the pre-established friendships of these situations, and that the lead has been like, I don't mind him being close to me.
Right.
Makes these sort of things feel way more comfortable, even if they're surprising.
Yeah, it's nice.
You're so cute to worry for me.
He laughs, a loud and boisterous laugh. The momentum of his twirl carries me around for one more lazy loop before he puts me down and hugs me tight. His fur is warm and voluminous against my skin, a long breath huffing hot through my hair. That's adorable.
Don't worry, Bill. I'll make the right choice. Thanks.
The sound of a poor rat scurrying across the ground catches our attention, and we look over just in time to see it race over a large chunk of teeth and then dive into an open pore. The ground around us seems to give a deep sigh, sinking a little lower beneath our weights, and Brattan gives a hearty laugh.
Maybe that's a sign for us to leave too. I'm not so used to staying in place for so long here, either. We're supposed to keep moving unless we actually find a salt pool.
Uh-huh.
Come on,
Whispers,
Phil.
"Take me
I'll let you get back to your work.
Uh-huh. Take me with you, senpai.
Yes.
That's adorable. He offers me a hand, which I take. His enormous paw practically engulfs my hand, gripping me gently as he hefts me to my feet.
Here, this way.
Squishy.
We don't talk much as we get back onto his caterpillar. Brattan only gives a few gentle pats to the side before urging it forward. The caterpillar wriggles a few times, feet popping off the sweaty ground beneath it. Ugh.
God.
But picks up pace quickly, holding on to Brattan to keep from sliding off the caterpillar's back. I watch the flesh field slide by me. That hole swallowed up by tufts of hair almost immediately, fading from view like it was never there in the first place.
Wild.
I know it's there, though. It's not something I can easily forget about. Not after what I've heard today.
Wild.
Wow. Between the soothing rhythm of the caterpillar's gait, the warmth radiating off Brattan's fur, and the exhaustion of the day, I end up dozing off where I'm leaning against Brattan's back. We are like warm and dark, we sleep. Comfy, we sleep. Maybe I'm lucky I didn't fall off, or maybe Brattan was careful about it. All I know is that one moment we're still traversing the flesh fields, and the next moment I'm blinking awake as the caterpillar slows to a crawl before the park entrance.
We're here! Or, did you want me to drop you off somewhere else?
He's adorable. Brattan turns around gingerly. I peel myself away from his back, shaking my head and smoothing a hand through my hair.
Smoothing a hand through my hand.
Oh, my hand. Whoops.
Oh,
It was supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be hair.
Yeah.
I think so.
Whoops.
No, this is fine. Thanks a lot for the ride. I feel like I should thank him for showing me the flesh fields too, but I'm not sure how to word it. Thanks for the show? Brattan must notice me hesitate because he leans in to huff into my hair, then lick my forehead.
It was my pleasure. I'm really glad I got to show you around. Especially since I know you're busy. Really appreciate you taking the time for me.
I can feel the way a smile tugs at his lips. His teeth bared slightly against, he's blushing too. Like there's kind of like a little bit of pink next to his cheeks.
Aww.
It's kind of cute, or at least on one side it's adorable. All right, his teeth bared slightly against my brow, so I nod. Maybe I don't need to say anything explicitly. He walks me to the edge of the park, back to where I can resume my route. Feeling the slick ground underfoot, transition to firm rock bed. Oh, yeah, here. We did just pocket it in confusion.
We did.
When he invited us along. At the last moment, I remember to retrieve Brattan's salt from my pack and offer it to him.
Right, thanks. Good luck on the rest of your route.
Thanks. I'll see you later. I tighten the bundle over my shoulder to make sure it's firmly in place, then head off at a steady jog. Halfway down the block, I turn or glance over my shoulder and catch sight of Brattan's fluffy tail slipping back into the foliage of the park. It's adorable.
Aw.
My mind threatens to slide back to that hole in the flesh fields, but I shake my head to drag my thoughts back to the present. But for now, I have to focus on my job. My next delivery is a good few blocks away, so I turn the corner and ramp up into a steady gallop, going, whoa, running late. Here you go.
How'd you work today, too?
Yes, sir. Things have been a little hectic today.
Can be helped. Well, I won't keep you. Be careful now.
I still really love the nonsense of their cloak basically being a curtain with blankets tied around them.
Right?
It's so good. Thanks. Have a nice day. I'm starting to get a little out of breath. I usually manage to do my entire route at a steady pace, but today's been a day of ups and downs.
So here's the question. Do we think we're running back into the same text?
I think we're going to run into the same thing again, but I kind of want to do it because some people will come just for this route.
That's fair.
And ending, so I think we're just going to go through it.
Okay.
All right? I've had to rush a lot more after that outing with Brattan, and I can feel my legs starting to ache a little. Plus, if we're referring to Brattan, there'll be slight differences. I slow from a sprint to a jog so I can go down my list of notes. I finished most of my route now, with only a few more blocks to run, which is good. A quick glance up at the sky confirms that the suns are starting to set already. The skies tinging their usual musty green. It's starting to get late, which means I'm cutting it a little close. The palpable tension in the air has been rising all day, too. There are more people hanging around the streets than usual, some rowdy and causing trouble, others pressed together in quiet intimacy. I turn the corner to take a shortcut down a street and find my foot splashing into a puddle of red. The metallic stench that lingers in the air is unmistakable, and it's cut through with a signature sting of salt. No doubt that the remnants of a punishment salt bath. In case you weren't here before, Drakonishi. Ha.
Here we go.
Or multiple salt baths, possibly. The metal tubs used for salt baths tend to leave behind dark rings of moisture on the ground. There are 3 circles overlapping each other. I can't tell if it's the result of one tub being jostled around, or multiple tubs used in quick succession. I move quickly past the site, both because I can't afford to loiter, but also because the combined smell of blood and salt is making me hungry. I haven't had the chance to take a break or eat anything today.
So much.
I risk a brief glance back as I head down the street. I've left behind a trail of dark footprints, radiating out from the pool of blood, but fading with each step until they vanish. The puddle of blood is still there. It will seep into the ground eventually, leaving a dark stain for a while. Kind of like the eclipse, huh? A big happening that will leave an impression for quite a while. I'm not a very poetic person. I feel a little smug for thinking of a comparison like that, but I can't spare too much time in self-congratulatory nonsense. I drag my thoughts away from that drying puddle of blood and look back towards the street. Ah,
Have a nice day, Bill.
I love Lobo. Thanks, you too. Time's getting awfully tight, but I should be able to finish my route on time if I keep up this pace. And I make the mistake of breathing a quiet sigh of relief to myself as I dash past a block of closed storefronts, closed for the eclipse, and round a corner quickly enough that my claws skid on the ground. I almost slam right into the bustling crowd that's loitering around, breathing in huge lungfuls of sweet, honey-scented air. What's going on? You know what? Maybe we should skip this part with Yarg, because we're going to do it again on his route and have to answer it.
As far as I actually understand, this is all rock. So, like where we are currently?
I was going to say the city itself has a lot of like rock ground and dirt ground that is over top, that is not fleshed.
As far as we understand.
What we understand
Like, I
is
love that idea, but I
do.
don't think that's what's going on here.
The blood from the bath is because they sort of, okay, a little graphic here. They flay parts of the person that is in trouble and throw them in the salt to burn them.
Yes.
And then it is supposed to be a deterrent from future crime and is not considered, as far as we can tell, to be a serious punishment, just a punishment.
Yeah, it like seems to be the punishment.
Just the thing before serious punishment happens. And so then they actually sell punishment salt and produce it at the salt factory, and then you can eat the blood of wrongdoers and the salt.
Yeah.
But I do love the idea that it would bruise the ground. That's neat.
Awesome.
All right, so what about we just skip through this to the night and then see how the day is different? Skip should take us to the next choice.
Sure. I don't know how far it'll skip though.
It's okay. I think we can do this. I think it'll be all right. Because like our lovely Nyarg, we are going to see him, on the next route.
Right.
And actually, say yes to him. We didn't even get a chance to ask at that point. That was very different, actually.
I think it's because what happens here is they go, you've already seen it. I think there's a characteristic with the skip, but I don't know. I'm assuming where it's actually going like, hey, you've already seen this. You don't need to worry about this.
Mm-hmm. I think it's not even that, but it's just I end up taking the long route back home, which this is going to be the same thing to get back home again. Right. All right, so we should. Let's see.
So mostly in the yard, cleaning up the store by himself.
Mm-hmm.
I cut through the park.
So yeah, this would be the same as last time, and then we can go.
This is on his whole puncturing the landscape because this is new.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I think
this is totally new.
Okay. I cut through the park. The atmosphere here is different after dark. The spindly trees casting twisting shadows across the uneven ground. The air feels colder too, and it feels different without Brattan's boisterous presence walking by. Our grossness theme and some are just normal monsters. I think they're just trying to have a wide diversity of everything. I don't know, but Nyarg was amazing and we were very fond of him. We're excited to do his route too. But yeah, I think I think the idea is just diversity. Some of the other random citizens that appear as well also are mixed between fairly normal-looking monsters and just wildly out there things.
Yeah, there's a lot of basically what I would term as Lovecraft horror that creeps around the edges of this, and it seems like your more extreme Lovecraftian monsters are actually considered to be weirder than the others, which is an interesting thing to say because there's actually, believe it or not, seems to be some amount of racism. So Niarg, the character that you just saw that was on the screen there for a minute,
There's
as a
some
blob.
discrimination against him, and we actually encounter rumors about people sort of judging him, and it's interesting.
It's really interesting.
I think back to that ominous hole puncturing the landscape of the flesh fields, nestled in clumps of hair. It surfaced a perfect reflection of the moons overhead, and I think of Brattan sitting before it, eyes almost as bright as the reflection itself. Just remembering the passion and determination in his voice sends a similar shiver down my back.
Small.
Oh, sorry. Small. It's only exhaustion that keeps me from dwelling on it.
Yeah, no, the story seems really interesting. We actually both really liked Niarg, and then we just we didn't realize when we first did the playthrough.
What sort of locks you into a choice?
Yeah, and we were actually kind of disappointed because we were like, at least for us, going, Niarg sounds really interesting. So
additionally, the protag actually made an overture towards him of their own accord, and that was kind of fun. So we were that, but we're not disappointed with Eastal at all. That was fascinating.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Also so warm. Yes?
Yeah.
Like, bah!
I'll get comfort.
Alright. It's only exhaustion that keeps me from dwelling on it. I end up taking the long route back home.
Down there. It changed the background. It's down here.
Oh, sorry, thank you. I walk past the Overlook office, which continues to watch silently over the city. The spire's eyeballs lazily cast over the landscape, though they blink slowly now and again, as if growing tired. My thoughts feel fuzzy as I walk back home, watching the 3 suns sink out of view, one at a time. Yes, it is a little wild. A lot of people choose one sort of variety of monster for their world, and there's more of a like sort of contiguous feel to the whole thing, if you will.
That's actually a really good
and
description.
this one is
like
quite
that.
a bit different.
Yeah, where some people are just kind of kinky, so they're just kind of like, oh, it could be kind of interesting. Where there's some light elements, like, you know, where people are like, oh, yes, the monster, tee-hee-hee.
People
and then
who
people
like
go,
furries and then go hardcore, like Niarg.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of variety in that way, too. Sort of catering to all parties, if you will.
Yes.
And at the same time, again, always feeling sort of safe and warm and comfortable and curious and interesting, you know? Like, this horror game isn't working to make you uncomfortable. It's kind of neat.
Right.
My thoughts feel fuzzy as I walk back home, watching the 3 suns sink out of view one at a time. Here we go. Look at our little alarm beetle, so cute. When I get back to my place, I just grab a salt packet and collapse on my bed. I usually don't eat in bed, but I'm too tired to care today. I roll over on my back to unwrap the fabric and drowsily bite off a small mouthful of salt. The familiar sting spreads through my mouth.
I think we've read this.
Yes, we did this one, so we can skip ahead.
From the window.
You can just pap ahead a little bit, because this is us
I
going
don't know
to
what
bed.
it changes, so.
Let's see. We're going to think back to Brattan, I think. Let's see. All around my body.
So much for quiet eclipse. Tomorrow will be a very important day, and then shrieking.
I jerk away to the sound of my alarm beetle buzzing. Whoa. I immediately close my eyes and roll back over it. There we go. Yesterday. My thoughts immediately sap to the sight of that strange hole in the flesh fields. Brattan sitting before it. And that certainly wakes me up. I jolt upright in an instant. My drowsiness dissipates like so much smoke. Poof. I sit up in bed, scuffing my hand over my face and picking off the pus that's dried over my eye during the night. A cursory check of the time tells me I'm not late, but I should move quickly if I want to be on time. So I do. And I try very hard not to think about the eclipse. I'll have the time to spare for that once I'm actually on my route.
Alright, so
it's okay, we can do this.
take the day off.
Alright, and then we're like, but we should be working.
No.
Nope. I have made it so everyone can spend time with the people that are important to them.
Right.
I
asked for their delivery today. Put
barely
on hold,
have.
Pencil, give you a rest. Enjoy the eclipse.
He's so cute. Smacks us on the back.
Whack.
Tap.
You're young. Go do something fun. You deserve it. Anything I should be doing? You doubting me? No,
No, sir.
Leaving the plant empty-handed. All right, Phil. Fine. Here, just stop. So,
Paper.
guy.
Okay, here we go. He tromps over, digging through the pocket of his apron and pulling out a few scraps of paper. He returns most of them to his pocket, but holds one out to me. That's you.
Mask.
Mask. Get your mask.
Some big guy came by earlier and gave me this. Said it's for you.
A big guy?
Yeah, big and furry. Lots of teeth.
Probably Brattan. I love the idea that there is no name for werewolf or anything else.
Right.
It's just, have you kind of like the idea that you just described them. I take the piece of paper, smiling to myself a bit at the frayed edges and the haphazard way it's been folded. Unfolding it reveals a short message, written in Brattan's messy scrawl.
Hey, Phil! I want to talk to you about the you-know-what, so you can come by the park when you have time. Thanks! This is Brattan.
I love it. We forgot to
Brattan.
sign it. No, this is... As
It's
he's
totally-
folding it, tears it open again, writes his name. It's so like him to call it the you-know-what. I smile to myself as I fold the note back up and tuck it in my pocket.
Something wrong?
No, nothing's wrong. Just seems like he wants to talk to me about something. Boss nods, hands still settled on his waist. Hey, boss.
Yeah?
What are you going to be doing during the eclipse? It's still a cute question.
Alright.
Alright, it
what's
just,
the
they're gonna mercury salt.
Mercury salt, that's right. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Gin, dearth.
Alright, super cute. Okay. I wish the boss a good day and leave soon afterwards. I don't want to delay him any further when there's still work to do. Hopefully he and everyone else at the plant will be able to finish up quickly and enjoy the rest of their days. Though I still feel some guilt about taking off by myself when everyone else is working hard. I also don't want to waste the time that was kindly given to me. Standing out in the streets, I watch people go by for a few minutes. It's actually not as crowded as I feared it would be. No doubt a lot of people are traveling or are already holed up with people important to
We've
them.
read this one too.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. Awful to spend the eclipse day in a salt bath.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
the
so
salt bath.
tugging my cloak around, air feels electric, alright, gets it moving.
And then we go straight to Brattan.
Okay.
I take my time heading to the park. Going there at such a leisurely pace is an unfamiliar experience, but not a bad one. Not at all. I inhale deeply when the greenery starts to loom ahead. There's a fresh, snappy quality to the air that chases away any lethargy with an undercurrent of sweet, damp earth. I don't see Brattan anywhere, but I did get here awfully early. He might not have been expecting me to get here until later in the afternoon. But that's fine. I don't mind spending some time in the park. The earth underfoot is pleasantly damp, squishy slightly under my weight as I walk a short way down the main path. The chittering of insects and rustling of leaves is soothing. I stop to sit down on a stump, closing my eyes as I listen to the far-off shouting of a crow. Of course, my thoughts drift to the hole in the flesh fields, thinking about the hole.
Who think about the hole?
That mirrored abyss full of mystery. The hole that Brattan is planning on disappearing into today. Brattan will probably slip into another world today and never come back.
Hey, Phil!
Woof, the whole screen jams. Hello, Bob.
Hey, baby.
Brattan swoops in out of nowhere, arms squeezing around me in a giant warm hug. Boof!
Hey, man.
Warm hugs for you, now.
You got here fast!
I must have been awfully absorbed in my thoughts since I didn't even hear his footsteps approaching. I let Brattan heft me to my feet, giving his arm a small pat. Yeah, the boss ended up giving me the day off. I wasn't sure what to do, so I thought I might just as well come here.
To be honest, I didn't expect you to come around until the afternoon either. It's amazing.
Brattan shifts his weight from one foot to another, fidgeting. He seems restless, like he's just waiting to bring something up but isn't sure of the right timing for it. And I find a smile creeping onto my face as I watch him rub at the back of his neck. Come on. I pat his arm again. Let's get something to eat, and then we can talk. Okay, this is the first time we've invited anyone to food, but we know he eats a lot, and that's super cute. We walk to a snack stall near the park entrance. There's a large sign posted on the window reading closing at midday for eclipse. Thanks. I get some salt pellets wrapped in sweet leaves. Not something I usually eat in the morning, but I figure if I ever deserve a treat, it's on an eclipse day before I have an important talk with my friend. Brattan buys seared salt slabs doused in lymph sauce. Both orders come with a cup of sweet nectar water, and we drink in small sips as we walk back towards the park.
Here.
That's adorable,
That's
like
what-
food stand food, and I kind of love it.
Mm-hmm.
Here, this way.
Brattan tilts his head towards a small path off to the side.
There's a nice spot we can eat at.
It's cuddly.
And it's
comfy.
got much cuddles.
You know what? Actually, it's terribly uncomfortable.
Lots of cuddles.
Inviting you to sit on me. Oh.
Hey, lots of cuddles.
Huh. We lead the way to a small clearing off the main trail. A ring of small mushrooms surround a giant cluster of mushrooms. They're soft and springy to touch, almost like pillows, and they make for wonderfully comfortable seating. We settle down on with our snack and eat quietly for a few moments, listening to the chirp of birds and the scream of crows who will not shut up. We're going with him in the hole. Can we go? I mean, I feel like if we're invested in him, we're invested in him. That's what I think. So the idea is if he invites us, I think we would want to go. Unless it feels super uncomfortable or unnatural for the main character,
Right.
That's what I'm expecting to happen.
Yeah.
In the same way that we didn't turn down Yeastel. Like, I think if they're invested, they're in for the whole game.
Yeah, pretty much.
This person seems very, very dedicated and very all in that way, even as they're, like, thoughtful.
Sure.
All right. Let's see. Birds. Far away, there's the sound of people shouting and cheering, but the noises are quickly swallowed up by the park's ambience. Not to go into the hole, right? It's such a mystery. I know. This game also a mystery.
I want to go down the hole.
Who go down the hole?
Who go down the hole?
It's nice. It's a nice day for an eclipse to happen. Brattan suddenly clears his throat, and I look over. He doesn't say anything, though, just popping another salt slab into his mouth. Nom. The salt crystals crunch loudly between his teeth. He seems to be avoiding looking at me. It's not like him to seem so nervous. Well, I guess anyone would be nervous before attempting so adventurous.
Something so adventurous.
Before attempting something so adventurous. You know what, sometimes for me, with attempting and something looking so similar when they're, sandwiched in between like so, I can skip words like that when I'm writing and think they're there.
Yeah.
So this person may also, or one of the people on the team may have dyslexia.
Yeah, they might actually. There's also the thing though too, guys, that like the biggest thing, like we said before, is really just kind of playing with whatever we feel like the character is going for. And
yeah,
if
we don't do anything, please feel free to do it. Like, we are inviting everyone to play the games we play, and again, it's a different experience playing by yourself than playing in a big group. So please indulge.
Quite.
All right. I decide to break the silence. Instead, what should I say though? Ask if he's really going to enter the hole. Say it's a nice day for trying something new. I think we'd say it's a nice day for trying something new. We keep hitting middle of the road, but it fits us.
Yes.
It would be nice to send Brattan off feeling good. You know, it's a nice day today. Good weather for trying something new, I think. Brattan looks over at me, ears perked up attentively, like he's heard something delightful. And then he gives an enthusiastic nod. Yes.
Yeah!
Oh my god.
You're right!
He eagerly pops the last salt slab into his mouth, crunching on it loudly before continuing.
I'm really glad it's a nice day today. Really get your blood pumping, you know?
There are a few stray salt crystals stuck to the short hairs of his muzzle. When he gives a wide grin, I smile back and reach up to brush them off. Yeah, I don't have really high expectations for the eclipse. I didn't have really high expectations for the eclipse at first, but it really feels sort of exciting now that it's here. I hope everything goes smoothly for everyone, and especially you. Brattan licks my hand. We wipe him. Look and see all the different expressions he has. It's so many.
It's so nice.
It's good. Also, the fact that they did all the faces expressive based on their own shapes. It's so good. Licks my hand, dragging his tongue from wrist to fingertips. In one long, warm swipe. It tickles.
Everything will go well. I'm sure of it. Even if things start going not well, I'll make them go well. It'll be brilliant.
That's so cute. I love it.
No one will be able to resist me.
No one will be able to defeat me. I'm bigger than them. I'll sit on them. I can't help laughing. Somehow, I can totally believe it. I'm sure you will. I eat a few more of my salt pellets. Him, slabs, us, pellets. I love the difference in size. It's adorable.
It's really cute.
The sharp sting of salt cuts nicely through the cloying sweetness of the leaves, making for a really tasty snack. It's been a while since I've had these. I also feel like these guys really understood flavor because they described flavors in a way that, as someone who's worked as a flavor specialist, which is, I don't know if that's as cool of a job as it sounds or not, but anyway, it sounds cool in that moment.
Right.
It is really a thing to know what flavors work well together, and this person not only cares about smell, but cares about taste, and it's kind of cool.
All right.
It's been a while since I've had these, and they're tastier than I remember. I pop another one in my mouth before holding out a few for Brattan to take. Do you want some?
Hey, Phil.
There's a sudden gravity to Brattan's voice, and I automatically pull back my hand.
Oh dear.
Offensive? Oh, yeah?
Would you?
I get the impression that we're just gonna all the time be frozen with salt in our hands going, indecision.
Would you go in the hole with me?
What? That certainly catches me off guard. But not necessarily in a bad way. I guess it's just surprising. You want me to go in there with you?
Yeah!
Aye, he's so cute.
I said my boy. Oh, lordy. Oh, yeah, he's probably
fucking
enormous.
huge. He is gigantic as far as we can tell. And in the earlier setup of him, it's like him being super tall and beefy and stuff. So, large boy. Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Yeah!
I put the salt pellets back in their little container, absently licking my hand clean. Then I stare off into the greenery surrounding us. A crow in a nearby tree has been staring at us. I realize it might be after our food. But I know I'm just letting my thoughts wander because the subject at hand is so difficult. I feel you, real strong. Then someone asks you a really gravitous question. You immediately forget that you're talking to them all together and think about something else because it's just an
panic.
overload. The thought of going into that hole is definitely a little frightening. But at the same time, it makes me a little giddy too. Going into completely uncharted territory, seeing what this different world is like. The Brattan's side, it's scary, but also a little exciting. It's a big decision to make, and I toy with the little container in my lap as I think over what to say. I also like, culturally, how it's a lot easier to do multiple variants of this particular character.
Right.
Because it is the sort of experience of the eclipse. They're way more open to making new or impulsive or dramatic decisions right now because of their very cultural heritage. And so doing any of these different things can make sense for them, even as they have different connections.
Right.
Did you ask anyone else? Brattan shakes his head. Then why did you decide to ask me? We wish clarity. Brattan exhales slowly. All right, deep breaths, everybody. And the movement ripples through his muscles. It's so muscly. His ears twitching gently as he thinks.
You know, I remember when I first met you on your delivery route.
Oh no, it's gonna be this.
Oh, I know.
I probably look a little surprised about where the conversation seems to be going, because Brattan gives a husky laugh.
I was just thinking back to it. I know salt delivery isn't an easy job because there's a lot of places to stop by and you're running all day and there's all those notes you have to keep in mind and you were a little behind on your deliveries the first time I saw you. Remember? You were all out of breath from running and you were holding your scrap of paper with your notes on it, but it was crinkly from sweat.
I'm prepared to die. Yes.
Yes.
Brattan laughs up a little louder, and his lips pull back to show his teeth with such a cute smile. His tail wags once, thumping against the mushrooms beneath us and kicking up a small cloud of spores.
You were in a rush, but I remember you still made sure to say hi to me. And that was really cute. You were all out of breath and looking frazzled, but you still smiled and said hello. And then you ran off as fast as you could, looking at your notes so you wouldn't make any mistakes.
He's like, it was adorable.
I will.
That's so cute. Him, that is the cutest person I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
Oh no. Him, oh no.
Oh no.
What does this have to do with going to the hole, I wonder? We are clueless.
Right.
Clueless is us. Hashtag clueless.
Yes.
Brattan clears his throat before sitting up straight, looking off into the surrounding foliage as he continues.
I don't know a lot of people who are as hardworking as you, but you always try to be friendly. You're really reliable, but you're not too serious either. I can remember the last time you missed a day of work, but you don't just do the work. I can't remember, excuse me. You always try to smile at people too, and I think that's really admirable. And if I'm gonna end up in a strange world, then there's nobody else I'd rather have with me.
That is so cute. I'm sure I'm blushing a little. It's not often that anyone compliments me so directly, and I draw my knees up, resting my chin on them. I'm suddenly glad for the way my hair and the sores on my face obscure my expression a little. I'm sure I look pretty embarrassed. Thanks. It means a lot to me that you'd say such nice things. I also do. I like the fact that they have something going on with their protag, that they're not perfectly healthy in every way. I just, as someone who, has had a lot of, people who are differently abled or chronically ill in my life, it's very refreshing, and that it doesn't affect their value prospect. Now, I understand they're very able-bodied, but still, like, nobody's going, ew, you're sick.
Right.
I think that's neat.
Right.
I think you're pretty reliable and friendly, too,
Not as much as you, though.
Brattan leans closer to me, resting his head atop mine for a moment.
Oh.
His warm breath huffs down my bare back. Oh, my back, sorry. Before he sits back up. I'm like, whoa, because we wear a cloak.
Aye.
Aye.
So, what do you say? Do you want to make the jump with me?
Admittedly, I feel a little shiver of anticipation crawl down my spine when he said those words. But I don't want to rush this decision either. Yes, the Lojag literally has pus dripping down half of their face, and their friends are all collectively crushing on them. Yes, it's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
And also, like, he's licked our face, too. Like, he has no problems with this.
Yep.
It is a really inclusive thing, and it continues to, sort of, like, just make me feel happy that it's, like, all of those things, just it's really inclusive,
Yeah.
One of the things that I was actually mentioning recently in reference to some TikTok culture that I'm familiar with is that a lot of people with, like, body damage or skin composition and color differences have found great acceptance in the Boku no Hero Academia fandom because of things like like Todoroki's burns and stuff, and people's different skins, even if it's Kamui Woods and stuff, is just a sign of them being special.
Right.
And so people are, instead of looking at scars and things as being something
disfiguring
and uncomfortable,
yeah.
It just shows part of your experience, and it's kind of cool.
Right.
Well, Brattan must be able to sense my hesitation because he pats my back. It's a gentle gesture despite his tremendous strength, his paw pads squishing against my shoulder blades when he rubs my back once, twice. He's so squishy and cuddly, I love it.
You don't need to answer it right away.
Sees the gears in our head turn furiously, starts to go into, vil.exe has stopped where he's like, whoa, it's okay.
He's like,
okay.
whoa, it's okay.
The mushrooms squeak beneath us as Brattan settles on his back, then swinging his legs up and springs to his feet in one swift movement. He does a kick up. A sprinkling of mushroom spores swirl around him as he offers a hand to help me to my feet. I accept it.
Do you have any other plans for today?
I think for a moment, not really.
Then do you want to kill a little time together until the eclipse? I can show you around a bit. I bet I know lots of weird places you've never stumbled across before.
Also a neat activity to do if you're thinking about leaving. Go and see everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Though Brattan starts to add something more, he changes his mind at the last moment and only gives me a big grin. I feel like what went unsaid was something along the lines of, after all, I won't be here anymore after today. And you get to spend the whole day with him. Regardless of what I decide to do, today will probably be the last day I get to spend time with Brattan.
Anytime.
Yeah, get to spend any time with Brattan. How could I possibly turn you down? I give Brattan a smile back. His tail wags furiously.
Yay.
He holds my hand as we walk towards the park's side entrance. I think Brattan isn't doing it consciously, and I don't mind it. So I say nothing about it.
Aww.
The hand holding, we're just like,
yay!
Squishy.
I giggled about it, but this was one of the warnings, was the hand holding.
Yeah, so in the content warnings for this game, on their itch page, hand holding is actually mentioned right along with vore.
I know, it was cute. I appreciate it.
It was pretty cute. I love people who are like, content warnings for death, destruction, gore, violence, and smooches.
And hands.
And head pats,
Which, though, honestly is kind of reasonable. I think, as weird as it sounds, I know, some people are more sensitive to it, and in some cases, it's a thing to consider. Sometimes people are like, I came here for monsters, I didn't come here for weird romance.
It also sets up the tone of the game in kind of an interesting way.
Yeah.
Brattan's caterpillar is there, tied to a pole, chewing on a patch of grass near the entrance. I love the fact that it tried to take a bite out of the bone, too. That made me so happy.
Honestly, that's charming.
It looks up with a squeal when we approach, strings of drool connecting from its mandibles to the blades of the grass. Brattan, of course, hurries over to rub its head and pull it away from the grass, saying something about too much wild grass will give it an upset stomach. He's so cute. He's like, I care for you.
No, you are, baby.
Censoring the hand holding. Yes. That's so perfect, and I love it.
I support.
The hand holding.
Oh,
Watch
no.
out. Oh,
It's
no.
so dirty.
So scandalous.
Ooh.
It's all up your
It's
back.
all me.
It's scandalous.
Ah.
Let's see. He pulls a few rolled up leaves out of a pouch on the caterpillar's harness and feeds it those instead. The caterpillar seems to love them, chewing enthusiastically.
Here, hop on.
He's already gotten into place on the caterpillar's back, and he pats the spot behind him. I clamber up and wrap my arms around Brattan's middle, pulling myself close to him to keep myself safely balanced. His fur is warm against my skin.
I also have to admit, I am deathly curious because I really want to see what all, like, basically this more special art looks like. Now that I've seen
I want to
stuff.
see him drawn in other ways too.
I
I want to
know.
see his CGs.
Me
Ha,
too.
ha.
You still have your eyes closed, right?
Yes. Actually,
For
I just
real?
have my face buried in your fur on your
blah,
back.
blah, blah, blah.
It's so soft. I forgot I was closing my eyes. I would just cuddle. I just knew.
For real?
Yeah, I promise.
Okay, good.
Barry's face and
Okay,
back
great.
talks into his spine. I promise.
Okay, good.
Him.
Because we're almost there.
Tickly on the spine. Brattan has eventually stopped the caterpillar at the edge of a nearby field. I assume because I can't see.
Well, this is, and promise, this is skipping ahead.
It's okay, it is. And promised to show me something very special. And while I didn't doubt him, he's leading me through what feels like a forest. And stepping over tree roots with my eyes closed is admittedly a little challenging. That's adorable.
That's really
His
cute.
fingers are firmly grasped around my hand, but they can't stop a particularly low-hanging branch from thwapping me in the forehead.
Oh, sorry. Here, let's do it like this.
He lifts me up like I weigh nothing, one hand propping up my back and the other beneath the crook of my knees. It's the
Oh.
bridal carry!
I thought
That's
that was like on your shoulder, like I'm
no,
holding you
back
like
and knees.
and like this.
But under your knees? Like
I
that
am.
would be an awkward... I think it's a bridal carry.
All right, could be.
Because propping up your back as opposed to putting a hand on your back,
Right.
so your weight is there.
All right, okay, we're running out of time.
There! That should keep you safe.
And before I can voice my complaints, Brattan takes off at a brisk jog. His shoulders crash through any branches unfortunate enough to be in the way. Surprisingly, I emerge completely unscathed, buried in his arms. Presumably because Brattan is holding me protectively to his chest. Yep. His footsteps thump easily off the dirt, traveling what sound like an ill-defined path through the
Sounds
woods.
like, yeah.
Sorry. Until he finally comes to a stop.
Yeah, that's not you. That's
Yeah.
missing anything.
I think I can hear water.
And you can open your eyes now.
I'm so excited. He lifts me up like I weigh nothing. Oh, sorry. Oh, wow. The exclamation leaves my lips before I can think to stop myself. I wanted there to be one more background. I really did.
I think they'll have one. Like sometimes they jump. I don't know.
We're standing in a small clearing, lit warmly by sunlight filtering through near translucent leaves. Birds trill overhead, calling to each other with noises I'm not familiar with.
Oh God,
crashed
hand
because of
holding.
loss of blood.
Yes.
Yay, nose loss of blood. So cute. Bwah! Calling each other with noises I'm not familiar with the steady chirping of insects filling in any gaps in their conversation, all set to the soothing backdrop of a waterfall churning into a small pond. The water is gorgeous, shimmering brilliantly in the sunlight like it's made of molten metals.
Oh, pretty.
I have to crouch at the water's edge to see that there's a reason why. Eyes?
They're jelly worms.
Looking closely, I can tell the water is flowing at a languid pace, thick and viscous with these worms.
Oh boy.
They lend, just warnings.
Ooh.
They lend the water a shimmering, almost gelatinous quality, causing it to lap up against the ground in thick blobs.
Ooh.
I gingerly touch my fingers to the surface of the water, then quickly withdraw them. It's cold.
Nice and cool, right? They're perfect for a sunny day like this.
Wait, you get in with them?
Yes.
And without further ado, Brattan begins wading into the pool. The jellyworms and water swirl around his body. His body easily parts through them, leaving a hole that lingers for a split second, like going through fish, before closing back up. Light bounces off the worms all around him, surrounding him an almost blinding halo of light. in and almost.
Yeah,
blinded.
in and almost.
Man, I think the further we get in this game, the more words are dropped. And I will say again, if you're ever writing your own thing, you usually get tired near the end. Read that more carefully.
Yes.
And especially if people hit crunch time of their own set deadlines, that end stuff is usually what suffers. And it's disappointing because the stories are so good.
I know.
Come on in. It feels great.
Brattan's teeth are bared in a huge smile, and it does look awfully fun in there. So I carefully remove my cloak, folding it roughly and draping it over a low-hanging tree branch. Nude swimming! Then I jump in, run in, walk in. I kind of want to do the run-in kind of thing, of like, so you kick things up a little bit and there's that sparkly splash, but not jump in to send jelly worms like flying everywhere.
Right.
I
Run in!
decide to run into the water. I mean, clearly we know what these things are.
Oh, yeah.
There's no use dragging it out. After all, so I take a deep breath, steeling myself for the cold, and then run into the water before I can hesitate. This feels like the same thing as going in like a bunch of koi fish or something like
Yeah,
that.
it kind of does, actually.
The jelly worms part along with the water, some thrown aside by the splashing. They barely seem to move on their own, instead following the movements of the water. They are like jellyfish a little bit,
They kind of are.
and soon close up in my wake. They feel wonderfully cool and smooth against the back of my legs. Do the flip. That would be great. Cannonball! Jelly worms plaster the clearing. Oops.
I did.
Oops. The viscosity does make it hard to keep running though, and I laugh as I slow down to a walk, just like boosh, boosh, whoosh. I stuck. I feeling the water swirl thickly around my waist. You weren't kidding. This really does feel incredibly special.
Yeah, but it does feel great, doesn't it? But feels great, doesn't it? Here, watch this.
Oh dear. Without giving me a chance to answer, Brattan plunges further into water, diving beneath the surface. The water glimmers in his wake, the ripples settling down quickly and leaving the surface tranquil for a split second before he emerges triumphantly. Okay, I'm just getting this vibe of this is the sparkly, beautiful, prismatic rainbow scene that is romantic and adorable.
Yes.
Made with jelly worms. Oh my god, they're cute. They're cute. The jelly worms are cute.
Hang on. Hide
Oh
text.
my god.
That's so ridiculous.
That's freaking adorable.
Oh my god.
Okay, jelly worms no longer a little bit concerning, now just adorable. They like tadpoles, and they're like unit tadpoles.
Look at them.
He is so golden and warm and cute.
That's adorable.
I love this. All right. And before he emerges triumphantly, Brattan throws both arms in the air as he breaks through the surface, throwing jelly worms in all directions. They look slightly concerned. Woo! They catch the sunlight while they're airborne, light reflecting off and through them, sending beautiful spots of light dancing around our surroundings.
That's so cool.
Do jelly worms evolve into people and then people into further?
I don't know.
Are these baboos?
It's beautiful, right? I found the spot years ago while exploring, and it's always been my secret treasure.
Again, this game really does, like, even when it sets you up with something a little creepy or unusual, it keeps you really safe and comfortable. And then it rewards you with adorable worms. Oh.
Right?
It really is beautiful. My voice is breathless and tempered with awe. I cup my hands and gently scoop up some of the water, then slowly let it pour back out, watching the jelly worms sparkle with every movement. Because we have the great big hands, we scoop up a bunch of jelly worms.
Right.
Thank you so much for sharing it with me. Palm EXE needs rebooted.
You need to do the rebooty.
He is so cute.
Do the rebooty.
Thank you so much for sharing it with me. It's amazing. When I get no response, I look up to see Brattan smiling at me.
I'm just really glad I got to show it to you. I'm really gonna miss it when I go away. Both you and this place.
Him pauses, unless,
So, let's forget everything else and have a good time right now, okay?
This game is an anime, I swear. The language is just like, you are a cute slice of life romance, and it's adorable.
It's
like, all
really
the beats
sweet.
are there of, you know what? Stuff's gonna change in a bit. Let's just have fun right now.
I'll be fine.
You know? I can understand the sentiment. Brattan is fearless and brave, but that doesn't mean he lacks attachments. He still loves this city and everything in it. It's just that exploring the unknown world is more important than anything else. So I nod, smiling back. Of course. We end up spending a good few hours there, in our own little world, surrounded by the lights of the jelly worms and the soothing chill of the water, and me going, but we have to work. Oh shit, that's how I work in real life too. I have an actual day off. Do I need to work today? The viscosity of the water and the density of the worms makes it easy to float on the surface like a salt lake. And then I lie back and look at the sky. I can see the three suns slowly nearing each other. The moment I have to make my decision grows nearer, bit by bit.
It's so good.
What are you going to do with her? The caterpillar, because we need to know. We're on our way back from the waterfall, passing by the park once more, when I realize that at some point, Brattan will have to leave behind the caterpillar we're riding. Brattan seems to have the same realization. He didn't think about it.
He didn't.
And looks down. The caterpillar continues steadily forward in little lurches, carrying us without complaint, but it slows to a stop when Brattan gives it a double pat to the back. So gentle.
Actually, let's walk from here.
I climb down without complaint, but give Brattan a curious look, and he grins.
I want to save her energy if I can. I'll take her to the hole, but let her go afterward. She's used the route we always go, so she'll know to return to the Salt Scouts Corral when it starts getting dark.
There's a pause before he adds, looking a little awkward.
I mean, I guess you might need her too, after the eclipse, if you have to head back.
And they look like gummy worms. They do look a little bit like. They also remind me of a water version of the little noodle worms that the pipe cleaner worms that everyone's been in love with.
That'd be great.
Like they really are just like a water version, like a real gelatinous living version of the little soft worms everybody's been going on about.
Really cute.
There's an unspoken tension in the air. Brattan hasn't asked me that very important question yet, and I'm not sure how I'd answer it either. So I only give a small nod. That's fine. I think walking would be nice. I give the caterpillar a small rub down a segment of its back, and I can feel the shifted muscle beneath its skin.
Great! The weather's decent today, but the sun's not too hot, so it should be a nice walk. Come on, this way.
Back to the fields. We walk through the flesh field. The walk through the flesh fields takes a while, but that's fine. We still have plenty of time before the eclipse. The skin beneath our feet is pliant at spots, mushy patches of fat compressing under our weights. Those areas are exhausting to get through, as it's like walking on memory foam.
Yeah, right.
And Brattan periodically stops so I can catch my breath. Once or twice he asks if I'd like him to carry me, but each time I say I appreciate the thought, but I'm fine. I love that idea. It's just like we are strong on solid ground, but he's a completely different animal to have your impact and your momentum absorbed with every step.
Right?
I don't want to wear him out when such a big moment is coming up, which means he is strong as hell. Strong like wow.
Yeah.
We talk about this and that as Brattan leads the way around big piles of gristle and bone. Poor rats peer at us from their holes, poking their noses out of holes burrowed in surrounding skin, but they never draw too close. I wonder if they too can feel that something unusual is about to happen.
Do you think they knew anything about the eclipse?
Brattan's looking at a poor rat sunning itself on a large tooth, and I grin. That's adorable. Maybe they also plan to do special things during the eclipse. Who knows? Even with the long walk, I reach the hole with a little time to spare. Brattan loops the caterpillar's harness over a craggy chunk of bone, then retrieves a visor from one of his pouches, slipping it on so he can squint up towards the sun.
Oh, nice.
Doesn't look like it'll be long before the eclipse.
I nod and sit down next to the hole, looking over the mirror-slick surface. My reflection stares back at me. Ripples dance across its surface when Brattan takes a seat next to me, sending tremors through the surrounding skin and distorting our reflections until they blur together into one indistinct shape. I also love the idea that while this MC has pus running down half their face, they also don't find it to be a problem.
Yeah.
They never mention it's a feature of them at all.
Yeah.
Which I think is amazing. For a long moment, he sits there in silence. I can hear his breaths moving through his barrel chest, exhaling in long huffs. And I can tell he's about to speak when his next breath comes a little shorter. I look over just as he opens his mouth.
Bill, will you come with me?
Just hearing that question sends a thrill racing through my chest, my heart beating a rapid drumbeat against my ribcage. There is a clear gravity in Brattan's voice, And I know I shouldn't answer this question easily. It's a big decision to make. I turn away as I recognize my thoughts. As I organize my thoughts. Because I know looking Brattan in the eye right now will just scatter my thoughts. Every breath I take feels hot and heavy in my throat, and I clench my hands tight. I thought I'd need longer to deliberate, but it feels like part of me was just waiting for this moment to talk. Yes.
Yes! Palms
The
so
words
excited.
leave my mouth one by one, quiet but firm, and I hear my own voice cut through the ambience of the flesh fields. I will. Absolutely. We're
Let's
gonna do
do
it.
it.
We will join the
We're
fluff
gonna
boy.
do it.
He is wholesome and good.
Yes.
I will. See?
Oh,
There
hand.
we are. And there's his hand.
There's his paw.
I want to go with you.
Yeah, we can hide this real quick just so we can see. Oops.
Fascinating, the idea that also it's sort of somehow dragging our eye away with it, you know?
Right?
Like, it's wild, but also at the same time, they have a fascinating look.
I know. It's really
It's just
interesting.
sort of charming.
All right.
I said it. And I immediately know it was the right thing to say. I exhale sharply, feeling a tingle of euphoria work its way down my spine. So I repeat myself. I want to go through that hole with you. Okay, this is informed, enthusiastic, and vocal consent.
Yes.
Going not only, yes, and I want to go with you, but I want to specifically do the thing that was asked.
Yes.
This is a great example. Brattan stares at me for a moment. I almost wonder if he didn't hear me. But just as I start to repeat myself, he whoops. There's no warning before he grabs me up in his arms and whirls in a circle, swinging me around like a toy. It's a little disorienting, but he stops quickly enough, instead pulling me close to his chest and squeezing me tight. The warmth of his fur envelops me like a blanket of soft fluff, laid over taut muscles as he nuzzles the crook of my neck.
I'm so glad, Bill!
He squeezes me even tighter, just enough to make the air escape my lungs in a wheeze. Then gently puts me down as squeak. He bends over a little as he puts me down so he can look me in the eye. He told.
I'm so happy. I'm really, really happy you're willing to go with me. Thank you so much, Bill.
I never heard Brattan sounding so sincere. Okay, I know we're running out of time, but I feel like this is the only right place to say it. I love that in reference to this eclipse, everyone is just so accepting of other people's life changes because that's when you do them, you know? That people can just disappear or turn into something else or leave and move away forever. And you don't have to like prepare all your friends and all things like that. Like the idea that it's culturally supported that you don't need to go back and tell anyone is really valuable to me. Because in so many other games, you make really important decisions that really would affect other people in your life. And in this case, it seems reasonable that you don't.
Yeah.
That you don't go seeking around to everyone else you know and let them know, because this is the time when impulsivity is go.
Yeah, right?
Not that Brattan is ever insincere, but he's always been so confident and playful, like a gale whipping through a forest. But now, there's a clear gravity to his words, and I can feel the way he's practically vibrating with true joy. It makes my chest feel tight to know my answer was able to make him so happy. And I lean forward to bump foreheads with him.
Aww.
Me too, Brattan. I have to pull his head down to us because that would
I
just,
pump.
like, I lean forward. I bet he still leaned down, having set us down.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I just lean forward into
I mean,
him.
he said he leaned down. so-
Right, I bet he's just still down there.
Yeah.
I'm excited to do this with you. I'm really happy you asked me to join you. Brattan laughs softly, the sound rumbling up from the pit of his stomach, to growl past his teeth, and he nuzzles my head, huffing out a warm breath through my hair. Whoosh. We stay like that for a few long moments, before the sound of scrabbling in the distance catches our attention. The noise, turns out to be a small group of poor rats, scratching about near a cluster of small teeth, probably in search of food. We catch each other's gaze and laugh.
Hey, come on. Let's sit down.
He looks up, holding his visor before his eyes as he squints towards the sky. I love that he has protective gear.
He does.
It looks like there's still some time before the
That's
eclipse. Oh, sorry.
It looks like there's still some time left before the eclipse, so let's rest until then.
Snuggle. How about over there? I point toward a large, unbroken tooth near the hole, its base surrounded by flecks of fat and scraggles of hair.
Sounds good.
Aye, comfy.
Yes.
Aye, whoa. On the other hand, it makes a different culture really freaking clear.
Right.
Brattan helps me clamber up the tooth and climbs up himself, sitting next to me. Together, we stare out over the flesh fields, like sitting on a big rock,
Right.
listening to a hot breeze whistle across the flat terrain. And, as the immediate rush of excitement settles down a touch, I find my thoughts going crowded. Do you think I should leave behind a note or something?
Huh?
Him, impulsive to the
No,
end.
no.
What? Nah, for my boss or neighbors to find. They have no idea what I'm doing after all, and I think they might be worried if I suddenly vanished. That one, where you left and never contacted again.
Hey, yeah, you're right. Hold on a moment.
Brattan hops off the tooth and goes back to his caterpillar. I watch as he rummages through the pouches on its back, then fondly gives it a rub on the head. The caterpillar's mandibles shift. It seems to have been chewing on a clump of hair. Brattan returns with a map and a pencil, presenting them to me proudly as he hops back on the tooth.
Here, you can leave a note on this.
Whoop, there's our warning.
There's our 15
We have to
warning.
leave very soon. It's normally so... Oh, here we go.
It's normally so we can note down where we find salt pools or find dangerous spots, but I don't have anything else to write notes on, and maybe it'll seem more mysterious if we leave your note on a map, but we don't actually write down where we're going.
He's still thinking in dramatics. Even as we near the pivotal moment, I give a wry smile and accept the pencil. Thanks. I'll try to make sure I don't leave any clues behind.
Don't worry about it. You should write what you need to. I don't want you to feel bad about leaving people in the dark.
That's so supportive. He's like, if you need to tell them about this thing, that's fine.
Right.
I nod as I put the pencil to paper, but Brattan's concerns are unnecessary. I already have a good idea of what I want to write. I keep it fairly short and simple. It's not like I'm a particularly eloquent person anyway. Nonetheless, you actually are, my dude. I've taken this chance to go traveling. I'm not sure where I'm going, and I don't know if and when I'll return. But I'm very excited. Sorry for leaving so suddenly. I hope everyone will be well. My thoughts are always with you. Thank you for the time we spent together. Phil, that's very cute.
That is cute.
I'm done. Not eloquent. That was so clean and nice.
Oh, already?
I expected Brattan to be reading over my shoulder, but he seems to have resisted the temptation. Yeah. I wanted it to be simple, and I wouldn't really know what to say if I made it longer.
Huh.
Brattan gives a thoughtful huff, the breath ruffling the longer, fluffier tufts of hair on his chest. It's an endearing sight, and I grin at him before sliding off the tooth and stepping towards the caterpillar. I'll just tuck it into her harness, okay?
Yep. Someone will find it then.
The caterpillar pays me no mind as I fold the note in between its skin and the harness, twisting it around the strap so it won't come loose, but is still immediately visible. Brattan is staring off across the flesh fields when I clamber back up onto the tooth. When I sit close to him, he heaves a quiet sigh and wraps an arm around my shoulders, pulling me closer, so I lean on him. It's warm and comfortable like this, the fluff of Brattan's fur guarding against the periodic breeze that whips across the flesh fields. And we talk. Not about anything in particular, but today might be the last day we spend here, with a place we're familiar with, so we can't help reminiscing. Brattan tells me about his favorite spot to relax, spots, about the strange things he's found while searching for salt pools, and about his friends and other salt scouts. The funny people he's met around town. Some of them are people I've also run into, or even my delivery clients, and I make sure to tell him each time. Time goes by easily as we share stories about Iso, the flesh hoarder, and Wur, who decorates all of his clothes with an astounding number of teeth. I love this. I laugh when Brattan describes Givel, who has always seemed so normal when I deliver his salt to him, but apparently spends his free time teaching crows to sing his favorite songs.
Oh, that's cute.
Man, I'm gonna miss everyone.
Me too. This is like making a big move. Sometimes you just gotta do it, and you know you will lose things, but again, you're going on to new things, and it's kind of neat.
It is?
A cold breeze cuts across the flesh fields, flattening tufts of hair and kicking about loose teeth. I scrunch up smaller against Brattan's side, and he pulls me closer until the wind subsides. Cozy.
Hey, Bill?
Yeah,
Are you sure you want to do this?
I can't pretend I'm totally confident in this decision, so I have no immediate answer. But pressed close to Brattan like this, I can hear the beat of his heart thumping steadily against his ribcage. It's a calming rhythm, remaining constant even...
Consistent.
Consistent, even as he waits for my answer. And I close my eyes. I feel like as long as I can hear this sound, I'll be able to handle most things. I like that it says most things instead of anything.
Yeah.
That's very realistic while also super warm.
Yeah, it's really friendly in that way.
Really scary going into this unknown place, to be honest. But I think it'll be worth it. I want to try new things. I want to see things I haven't seen before. And I think if I'm doing it with you, I won't feel so scared. All right, guys, we are out of time right here. Well, we didn't quite have time for 2 words, so we will be finishing this game next week.
Yes.
With,
And Yard,
Yard.
and the end of this one.
And the
clearly.
end of this one as well. We'll just come back in right here. So
Yes.
it has been lovely to have all of you. I actually like how quiet this is. Like, I appreciate streamers that play more intense games and everyone's screaming and howling through the entire thing.
Right.
And stuff like that, like I do. But I also like how much we can all just sit and feel the same intensity of the story together.
Right.
And like what you can feel when everybody's just like, I just listen.
I do the listen.
And it's neat.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I want to say, so thank you so much for being here. And now we're going to do the YouTube wrap up and then we're going to end out the stream, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us then. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and also share our videos if you're having a good time with us. It really helps us out. And also, please feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or our Patreon. We've got some links in the description down below. And I have been Scandal.
and if you enjoyed this stream, please feel free to check out our other videos and also come join us streaming every Saturday.
Yes!
In case we can't book the same spot at the library, our times are always posted in our YouTube profile, as well as our stream time is posted here on Twitch.
Yes.
And I have been Liz.
And it was great playing with you. Bye!